I'm live now. All right, here we go. Yay, day number 2. I am here. Um, I, oh gosh, how to begin? So I rewatched my video from yesterday, and yes, there were definitely some technical difficulties, some what I feel are somewhat cringy moments. Um, Talking off the top of my brain is, well, I'm working on it. I'm learning, and uh, I came really close to deleting that video since I don't actually have anyone watching me right now. But then this morning, I had a one of my closest friends call me, and she was having a little bit of a crisis in terms of how she feels that she needs to show up. Um, she is also very spiritual, and she has been invited to give a sermon with a reverend through I don't think they're not through a church, it's just on Zoom, but in I believe she's a reverend, a science of mind reverend. So not mainstream, not as Christian church. And so my friend was talking about how she spent hours preparing the sermon, and then last night she was really um, just couldn't sleep. She just really, really having a hard time with showing up. And she's given sermons before. She's a spiritual leader in her community and normally doesn't have any trouble. But as she was talking to me, she realized that part of her anxiety, and she had all these crazy dreams, and a part of it came from needing to fit herself into someone else's format or box, their idea of how things should be. And she realized that was the biggest source. And I guess I already said that, but it's the biggest source of her anxiety. So, it wasn't so much showing up, but showing up in a way that didn't feel authentic to her. And this idea of mm, not feeling accepted or liked or possibly criticized in some way, which again she doesn't normally feel. And as we talked, she kind of came to the conclusion that it's really important for her to show up authentically as herself rather than trying to fit herself in someone else's paradigm. And my big takeaway from the conversation was that that is why I am doing this on YouTube. Um, that I want to show up as myself, be vulnerable, be authentic, because I know that there are a lot of people out there who don't want to be talked at, don't want to be talked down to. They want to be understood. They want to be heard, and they want to know that there are other people like them, that they're not alone. I know that's true for me, and the people that I resonate with the most are people who show up as themselves, um, without apology, and kind of a take it or leave it attitude. And I find that to be so inspiring. And I would say in every case, those people have mentioned in one way or another that they get flack from people, they get pushback, they get people hating on them, and I think that's it can be very difficult for anybody to, we make ourselves vulnerable and then we get attacked for that. And in this day and age of, the internet, yes, it's wonderful, and it also is, it can be really painful and damaging depending on how people use it. So then we're faced with our fear of, well, if I'm going to get hurt, I don't want to show up as myself. And this is a huge part of, I think, my desire to be perfect is I don't want to be criticized because it doesn't feel good. And there are so many people who are very sensitive to criticism, that internalize criticism as if it is really a reflection on themselves. So, my big takeaway from all this was I was this morning before that conversation with my friend, I literally was going to take my first video down, delete it, and take notes and go back and remake it and make it more polished and less glitchy and annoying in some ways. But I realized that rather than doing that, that it's more important for me to leave it as my, I'm not sure how to say it, kind of that, this is my beginning, and it's not perfect. It is about taking imperfect action. And though I don't have any followers currently. I didn't have anyone tune in. Um, I want to leave it because it is a part of the process of me learning and getting comfortable with this platform. I recognize my desire to want to show up in the right way. But really, what is the right way? There is no right way, and this is something that I touched upon in the first video. There is only our way, and however we show up, it's true to us in whatever way that is. Makes me think of one of my one of the tarot readers that I follow, Rich Lopp. He talks about how there is there's essentially no failure. There is success and there is learning. and that's it. And I think in our society, we have been trained to focus on the duality of success versus failure, that failure is bad, that we want to always move towards success. But I realize as I'm talking about this that the concepts of success and failure are personal to each and every individual. That we all have we are all configured in different ways and with different filters from one another. And what hits one person one way hits somebody else a different way. And so the concept of failure, of success, um, it can be completely different between two different people. And so I decided that this morning, after the conversation with my friend, that I um, I am more interested in showing up as myself and being authentic. And I may, I will end up being criticized for it. My intention is to grow this channel. And there are always naysayers. There are always people who don't get it, who don't resonate. But to realize that anybody who doesn't resonate, there it's not personal to me, it's personal to them. And if they choose to lash out or respond in a less than positive way, it's because of their own filters. And and I kind of feel intuitively that people who do that, some part of them is actually resonating with what is being said, but another part is so scared, so terrified of the implications, or somehow it brings their beliefs or values into question. And I think that's, that can be really scary for anybody. And so there's a automatic rejerk, knee jerk reaction because of pain and fear. And the whole point of showing up authentically and vulnerably is to recognize that fear and move past it. And there are so many quotes. My favorite tea that I like to drink, the Good Earth Sweet and Spicy, each tea bag has a different quote. And so many of them are about stepping up despite what people say. Um, you know, living outside the box, forging a new path, um, stepping outside our comfort zone, because it's only in doing that we can really tap in to who we truly are and our own personal idea of success. And those concepts change as we age, as we have experiences, we're not stuck in we don't have to be stuck in one way of thinking our whole lives. I said this yesterday, but change is the only thing we can count on. And I think that's true for everybody, that we can't help but be changed by our experience of what we go through. But I think that some people, they don't want that change. They resist that change. And I think more than anything, it hurts themselves, and people not embracing the inevitable, the inevitability of change. Um, a part of them, freaks out. It's sort of the idea of dying inside because they're not actually being true to themselves, their true core essence. I really subscribe to the idea that we are here to learn. We are all on this planet to sort of have these experiences. I think on a soul level, there is no such thing as right, wrong, good, bad. Those polarities that are so uh, just a part of being human. Um, on a soul level, we are here to just have those experiences. And when we learn what we need to learn, then we move on to the next lesson, very much like school. So, I guess I invite you, anyone watching, to really go within and explore what is authentic, what does it mean to be authentic for yourself? What would it look like to make yourself vulnerable? I truly believe that vulnerability is actually the most powerful way to show up. It is the very definition of being strong. Even though in our society there's this concept that being vulnerable means being weak. But anyone who has truly let themselves be vulnerable will say that there is such great power and such great empowerment in doing that. So, I'm here. I am being my most vulnerable self and my most authentic self, at least how I am in this moment. And that will change. And I embrace that change. But I also embrace this moment and all that is within it. Because what else is there to do? For me, I want to move towards what feels good, what vibrates in a positive way within myself. And I think any of us that do that, that's how we tap into our our true happiness. When we can show up for ourselves and say, screw it to the rest of the world. This is me. It's it's like being our own best friend. It's having our own back. And I feel very strongly that that is the direction we are all moving in. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to do a little reading now. I have my Wisdom of the Oracle cards by Colette Baron Reed. I have been using these cards for a while now, but again, I am not thoroughly versed in what they mean. So I am potentially going to use the guidebook, but also I'm going to use my intuition, which is something that I am working on tapping into more. And that, like I said in my last video, is it's a part of what's driving me in doing this, and a part of how I intend to I want to say it, show up and provide something beneficial for somebody out there. Yeah. So just asking the universe and spirit guides, angels, divine consciousness. What do we need to know today? This is on behalf of the collective. What messages do we need right now? I'm okay. I need to be a little faster at shuffling. All right. Waiting for a jumper. Oop, there we go. By the book. I'm feeling like, oh, geez, I just made a mistake. Sorry for the scratchy. I did that yesterday. I laid my cards on my computer right on top of the the microphone. It's doesn't sound very good. Sorry. So by the book. What does that mean? Doing things by the book. I, I believe this card actually showed up reverse. And to me, it speaks to moving out of our comfort zone, of not doing things by the book, by how things have already been set up. This is about forging ahead and following, sounds cliche, but following our heart, following what is true to each one of us. And it might look totally different from anything that we've ever encountered before. But there is only one of us in this world. There's only one you. There's only one me. And the world wants us to show up as ourselves because nobody else can do it the way that you can, the way that I can. I think I need to pick one more card. One more card. And I'll pay attention. Make sure. Is it reversed or not? Woo! This one's sideways. This is a change in the wind. Love these pictures. So I feel like sideways means that we are in between. There's a change in the wind. We are between the old way and the new way. And I think that we are being invited to embrace that change. Embrace that change in the world and within ourselves. Because this too shall pass. Every moment leads us to a new moment, to something that maybe we hadn't considered before, or thought about before, or experienced before. And isn't that exciting? I can't imagine life being the same over and over and over again. So embrace that change. And yay! Second day, I did it. We'll see how the next 28 days go. Thank you for watching if you've made it this far. I am truly grateful. Mwah.